Hello, beautiful seeker of the world. Welcome back to the Existential Shift. Very happy to have you. If you're new, my name is Morgane. This is my realm. Anyway, we are going to do not by the sign today, which I normally do, rather by your choice. I'm going to perform a classic Celtic cross, focusing on your spiritual step of the journey, where you are at spiritually, karmically, energetically, and all that jazz. We're going to have 3 Celtic cross spreads, one for each group of seekers, and you'll just choose a pile and listen to your reading. Okay, if you want to know more about how Celtic cross is performed the classic way, refer to my Tarot Masterclass Bunkai. It's an online course that I've created. It's on Vimeo, link is below. There are 2 specific classes that focus on advanced spreads, not extended, advanced spreads. One of them has the Celtic cross in it. If you want to check it out, feel free. You can rent each class separately or buy them separately. With that being said, if you want to study deeper on how to be a Tarochi, you can just take the entire class. Now, keep in mind it also includes somewhat of an intense shamanic journey when you sign up for my class, and take it at your own, pace, because it's pre-recorded and you can just watch it when you want. But still, you're basically signing up for knowledge, and especially when you start studying tarot properly in a specific way that I've structured in accordance, things start happening in your life. Every card brings with it a very deep spiritual message, which is why, as you will listen to me during this Celtic cross, it will sound a little bit different than a standard reading, because I will focus on the spiritual and energetic aspects of the cards. They are multi-layered. Okay, so we'll just see what comes up, but we're going to go deeper, right? Possibly into the esoteric aspect of them. The mystery, the bunkai, it's a term in Japanese for martial arts, which refers to the secret applications of a craft. So my Tarot Masterclass Bunkai, the secret applications of tarot, it includes all the layers. So yeah, if keep in mind that if you choose to sign up for the entire classes, meaning like renting all of them or buying all of them, you're signing up for a journey, a shamanic journey. It's not just about learning how to read tarot. So it also is for those of you who are not into becoming a professional tarochi per se, more so, especially, that too, of course, you'll learn how to read tarot very well, but it's about the spiritual journey and expansion. Okay? All right. So I'm shuffling and focusing on 3 different spiritual readings for my seekers as a Celtic cross, please. Another thing that is coming up for me to tell you, of course, is the Karmic Shift and Liberation. It's a special project that I've created for the 2020s and focus on the year 2020 and the following decade to see into your karma, what's left to transmute and release and transform by, with, and or away from your past lifetime karma, your this lifetime karma, and your generational karma, and how they all affect you spiritually, cognitively, love-wise, and career-wise. There are also oracles there. So, and it's by the sign. You can find that on Vimeo, but also on tier number 3 on Patreon. So I also highly recommend that too. Is there anything else I'm supposed to tell you guys before I feel like it's ready? If you want to focus on love, check out your extended love reading, Double Pentagram, by the sign. It's also available on Vimeo, but also on Patreon on tier number 2 and 3. Okay. Oh, this is timeless. So although I'm focusing this on the next 3 weeks for spiritual growth, in place in your spiritual journey, count from when you're watching this. Okay. 3 spreads for my seekers. So seekers' spiritual journey. 3 different spreads. Celtic cross, please. Nope, not that type of reading. Guys, if you see a Tawochi, shuffle and just let cards fall down in a Celtic cross, totally legitimate, totally fine. There is the structure, there is the classic way, there is the ancient way. It doesn't mean anyone is limited by it or for it, okay? I'm doing it the classic way right now because it just feels like it makes sense, although the cards really want to talk. But I really want this to be specifically organized in 3 different spreads, please, for 3 different seekers, group of seekers, on different timelines, different steps of the journey. I know 6 minutes in, but it has to be, I want it to be accurate, please, with accuracy. There's a lot going on right now, a lot of energies pulling in different directions. A lot of yods in people's charts are being heavily triggered as I'm recording this because we're in the midst of a very big yod happening in the sky that lasts for about 9 days. It's very, very meaningful. 9 days from the 9th of August to the 18th of August. 18 sums to 9. 999. Massive completion of a spiritual cycle. For all of us, every single one of us is moving on to the next level, but to their next level. This is your relative next level. Okay, your relative next level could be far different than someone else's next level, right? 9 is the number of the philanthropist, of humanity, of global communication, of singularity, but also globalism, because our own inner realm is an autonomy to the entire universe, right? So that's the sage archetype, yeah? 9, aka the hermit. The hermit is not really alone. The hermit is tapped into the infinity of wisdom, of knowledge, of timelines, of dimensions. He has surpassed the chariot and the strength card. He is close to the divine, to the wheel of fortune. He's the initiator of the next level in the spiritual quest. He went through the journey of the singular person. So, not an intuitive reading, a structured, classic Celtic cross for spirituality. I want to invoke the ancestors. I want to invoke the ancient wisdom. I want to invoke honor to those who came before us and created the path of terror. I want to honor them. I know 8 minutes in, but we're learning as we go and as I talk. If you're timestamping this, thank you. But make sure to clarify that the beginning is also important. The introduction from the beginning. And then the different chosen spreads. Celtic cross from my secret spiritual quest. If you're annoyed by this, by how long it's taking, please feel free to drop out. Possibly this isn't for you because I want to give accurate messages, and I'm going to have 3 different piles from the same deck to give 3 different spreads, and they are just rearranging and aligning in accordance to to give the most important messages to those who are worthy and need to hear them. So, if you're agitated, annoyed, yelling at the screen, I don't want you here. Feel free to go. And I'm going to kind of take you out of the energy of the cards just to kind of make it even simpler. For those who are still here, and seekers who are still here, 3 different spiritual piles and Celtic cross, please, to choose from. Celtic cross for my seekers, Celtic cross for my seekers. Not even looking. Celtic cross for my seekers, please. Okay, it's starting. Okay, we're getting there. See what I did there? And this is something important to take as an example for manifestation. Focus. Especially now, energies are pulling in so many different directions as we are going through this split, this shift, this evolution of consciousness, growth in frequencies. It's a lot of energy to deal with. So think of the Chariot card, right? Harnessing the different energies pulling in different directions. Setting your route. Okay. If you're a Tawachi, learn to communicate with your cards in ways that isn't demanding, respectful, yes, but also guiding and leading them. This is the entire human condition right here in the 78 cards. They have a lot to say about many things. If you don't want to get confused, if you want to know what you want to know, focus. Yeah, timestamper. Take note of this introduction. Do not leave it out. Thank you, though. All of it from the beginning. Celtic cross. Where are my seekers at in their spiritual journey and growth for the next 21 days? Got it. Divide the deck into 3 separate piles for 3 separate spreads of a Celtic cross for the next 21 days, please. Perfect. Now, if you are in front of me right now as a seeker for a private reading, I would ask you to focus and choose a pile. That's for the sake of reference. Call this one, no. Pile number 1 is symbolized by Ansus, the rune Ansus. Pile number 2 is symbolized by, not a rune, but a stone amethyst. Pile number 3 is symbolized feeling this one. Pile number 3. You know what? I'll put it here as well. Pile number 3 is symbolized by Mungo. Mungo. Okay. You also want a rune for this one? Okay, let's give this a rune for pile number 2. A rune for pile number 2. Ehol. Beautiful. And pile number 1. Zeus, and that stone is calling. What stones? Oh, it's just calling at me. Moldavite. Okay. So we have here. Choose one. Not 2, not 3. You can listen to the others for the sake of curiosity and learning, but take note of the relevant messages to you from the pile that you chose. Okay? This pile is Ansus as the rune and Moldavite as a stone. This pile is ihor as a rune and amethyst as a stone. And this pile is wungo as a rune and jade as a stone. I'm going to give you a second. Great. Let's do this. Let's start with pile number 1. I'll put these aside. All right. My seekers are symbolized by Ansus and Moldavite. That's pretty major. Can go back now if you chose any of the other ones, just because this one sounds more romantic. We haven't looked at the cards yet, right? All spiritual messages are good messages. Now, I read it the Hebrew way, from right to left. It's also how I teach it. So Tarochis out there will do it other way. This one is even more ancient than the ancients, so don't. I love it when people, I'm not going to sound vain, never mind. I'm not going to say it. Never mind. Focus on me. Okay. All right. Seeker, I'm going to refer to you as Ansus. Oh, wow. First card, Knight of Cups, crossed by the 10 of Pentacles. Third card, Ace of Wands. Fourth, 8 of Pentacles. Fifth, 4 of Cups. Sixth, the Devil. Spiritual, remember. Seventh, Judgment. Eighth, 6 of Swords. 9, Ace of Pentacles, 2 aces. And 10th, 3 of Wands. Okay. I feel my head burning. Sorry. Okay. So, Seeker Ansus, what you're going through in the next 3 weeks, in the next 21 days, is a journey to your destiny. And so far, you've had a lot of doubts in the recent past in regards to what that is. What is my direction? Where am I supposed to go? I keep working so hard on trying to find my way, my destiny, my mission. But it always feels like whatever it is I do turns out to be temporary rather than consistent and my one fated thing, right? You have in your mindset, in your subconscious more so, the assumption or the thought that you're supposed to have one destiny, one thing. Maybe you're going to readers and like, what is my destiny? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? Maybe it's what you're thinking about, what you're meditating over, what you feel like is the right thing, to find that special and you've been missing out a lot of your actual spiritual journey that came to you disguised as normal people and normal events, but you kind of dismiss them thinking, oh, that's just a regular person, or that's just a temporary relationship, or that's just a job that I'm not going to want to do forever, or that's just this, or that's just that. And you've been coming from a mindset of, I don't want to do something temporary or superficial because that's not my ultimate spiritual true goal. And that mindset is the devil that you're seeing here. not the actual temperness. Oh my God. Okay. You know what the word I'm trying to say. Every moment is infinity. Every present is past, present, and future. Every timeline is all the timelines. If you're in a timeline and are obsessed with what exists in the other timeline, or where this moment will lead to in the future, or what this past event meant, or past lifetime meant, and all that, if you're so obsessed on that, you're missing out on the actual mission, on the actual fate, on the actual destiny that is this moment right now. I feel like you're bound to the perception of it has to be all or nothing, or this has to be the ultimate mission or journey, or person, or career, or religion, or occult system. No. The quest, the studying the occult systems, the getting to know the person that is on your path right now, whether he's your one for today or one for a lifetime, doesn't matter. That is where you study most. That is where you evolve from most. And I feel like the next 3 weeks you'll be super focused on realizing that and awakening to that, and kind of stripping yourself out of the, what is the right way to be spiritual, or what is the right way to be wise, or what is the right way to reach higher stages. The universe shows you, right? Everything around you is a reflection of your subconscious and your inner world. So everything that is happening to you right now, from the noises outside, to the annoying neighbor, to the relationship that isn't clear, to the job that isn't satisfying, to the friend that is being bizarre, whatever. All of those things are your spiritual destiny, because they reflect your subconscious and they allow you to be like, okay, what it is that I need to work on, resolve, feel, acknowledge, connect with within myself. Anything around you, nothing is like limiting you right now on your spiritual journey. Whatever your circumstances are, they're not here to limit you. They're here to tell you what goes on in your head. And that is part of the spiritual quest. In the next 3 weeks, serve as a major wake-up call to be like, oh my God, that person whom I've dismissed, thinking are not whatever I want them to be, I could have learned so much from them. Or that situation that isn't clear or isn't completely pure, it's not bad. It's just the complexity of life. And as a soul, I'm not pure, I'm complex. I'm divine in my complexity, and they're divine in their complexity. So I can connect to something deeply without it being completely righteous or pure or how it should be. The how it should be is that devil mindset. There is no how it should be. It's how it is for you right now, because it's a perfect reflection, clear, clean, perfect reflection of who you are and what you have to do right now. Okay? Now you do have 2 aces of earth, pentacles, and fire wands. There is a new start happening to you in regards to your physical relationship, sexuality, romance, person you're dealing with, dating life. You're rediscovering yourself in that regards, and that is the next spiritual journey of connecting to your flesh and to your desires, and without judgment. Passion is inspiration. The body is your vessel. It takes you through this journey of life. That includes material gains that allow you to go on the journey and seek and study. It's not about the status of what it is that you do as much as it is about the experience of it and what it teaches you and what it gives you. And the pleasures of the moment are spiritual. Now, obviously, I'm not referring to vices that are destructive and that can hurt you, or things that you're addicted to that you don't release from. If that's the case, if there is some sort of an addiction, you're going into a place of realizing what it stands for and why you're addicted to the thing, what it is in you that it satisfies. And instead of fighting it, you're going into it, aka the only way out is in. I say it a lot, aka just understanding what makes you want to do the thing, and then going to that place within you, rather than judging you and suppressing yourself and criticizing yourself for not being good or not being spiritual because you're addicted to this, or you want to do that and you desire this, whatever. I'm not saying to continue the vice, especially if it's destructive. Rather, you're trying to convey with it. Instead of fighting with the devil, you're dancing with the devil and asking it, what do you have to say to me? Don't forget, the devil is a religious invention. Originally, the archetype of the devil is Lucifer, Greek for, or Latin for, light bearer. He was an angel that wanted to do his thing, so was cast away from heaven simply for not obeying all the orders. There is so much to this myth. But in pagan times, in ancient times, in matriarch times, the devil was the god Pan. From Greek mythology, his archetype was that he was the son of Zeus, but he was born ugly and different, so the gods didn't want him around, so they banished him to earth to live in the woods, abandoned and shamed for not looking divine like the other gods. So he learned to love the earth and be a part of nature and the woods. He's the archetype of raw energy. He's very divine because he's true to his essence. It's also very feminine energy, very sexual energy. Desire is what brings life to earth. Without desire, there wouldn't be sex or lovemaking. Without lovemaking, there wouldn't be birth and new life brought and created. The seed needs to be planted in the earth in order for the plant to grow into existence and flourish into this tree of life, symbolized by the Ten of Pentacles. You have the tree of life here, or the Yggdrasil tree, depending on the culture you want to connect with, Judaism or Norse mythology, but it's the same tree of knowledge, good and bad. Maybe you've been denying yourself of knowledge because you felt like something is bad or inappropriate or not spiritual. In the next 3 weeks, you are taught that spirituality is knowledge, good or bad. It's the light and the darkness. It's the transmutation of the both. Watch my 13th element, integration, transmutation, the alchemy of spirit. It's on my 13th element playlist. You're waking up to yourself, to your true desires and your true essence here on earth. What it is that you want to do, what it is that you enjoy. And allow yourself to let go of yourself. There's a major new start happening for you in the way you approach spirituality and your faith. It's looking good. Like right now, I'm experiencing so much anger and frustration because there's a motorcyclist outside that is cycling around the neighborhood. He probably has a small dick and he needs to prove something. And it annoys the shit out of me because I'm trying to focus on your reading. Am I going to act like Yoda that is always calm? No, I'm not always calm. I'm human, and that shit annoys me. I can't stand disrespectful, insecure pricks who feel the need to shout to the world and annoy everyone just to make us know that they're there. I don't want to know. I don't care. You're right. I don't care that you're there. It's okay to experience the human range of emotion. If I were to suppress what I'm feeling right now, it will turn into spiteful sarcasm. It will turn into, God forbid, a physical illness. It gets suppressed in my subconscious, and I will be carrying unresolved anger and become a snappy, bitter person. I don't want that. It's important to express yourself emotionally now. Do it healthily, of course. Yeah, I want to go out and break his motorcycle. I want to, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to lie to myself that I'm not going to because I don't want to. I know I want to. I'm not going to because I have a thing called what's the word? Maturity. I understand that it's illegal and wrong of me to go and break his motorcycle, but I, for a second, am not going to sit here and be like, I don't want to. Now, why am I going on a rant about this? Because I want you to feel what you want to feel and not make yourself feel like you're bad because of it. How will you know something is wrong if you don't allow yourself to feel anger? Right? How will you know? How will you put up healthy boundaries to prevent people around you from hurting you if you can't recognize that something that someone does is hurting you? There has to first be the recognition. From within their deck, I want to see, is this Knight of Cups potential lover? Someone might be giving you a call, returning, wanting to connect with you sexually, and you might be like, I'm not interested, or you'll be like, yeah, let's do it. It's up to you and your situation. Can you clarify this Knight of Cups? The Emperor. Okay. This is someone that possibly in the past wasn't serious about you, but now they're contacting you wanting to be like the Emperor for you and treat it like it's a serious matter and give more. So it's up to you if you're interested in that or not. Again, you can check out your extended love reading for the month below in the description box, either on Vimeo or on Patreon if that interests you. But that was a reading to focus on spirituality. I was just curious. Okay. Thank you, Seeker and Seuss and Moldavite. Let's move into next. That was kind of fun. Right, now we have Ehor and Amethyst, right? Let me take a sip. He stopped, by the way. Your higher self constantly encourages you to acknowledge how you feel. And once you acknowledge yourself, there's no longer a need for the exterior to show you yourself. Right? If you feel inadequate and you constantly meet potential partners that make you feel inadequate, like you're not good enough, like you need to prove yourself to them or something like that. Until you acknowledge within yourself that there is something in you that still feels unworthy or not enough, the universe will keep bringing you people, treating you as if you're inadequate, as ways of letting you know that that's what's inside that wants to come out and heal and receive, acknowledgement. But if you constantly sit and like, I'm worth everything, I shouldn't be with people who make me feel like I'm worthless because I'm worth it all. The mantras that don't do shit if your subconscious is not aligned. Watch my 13th element, True Secrets of Manifestation. No, sit with yourself and be like, okay, I constantly meet people who make me feel like I'm not good enough. It's because the truth is, deep inside, I feel like I'm not good enough. Now you can work on it, and you can better it and improve it by doing the work, by being compassionate towards yourself, and not judgmental towards yourself, and acknowledge that when you were a kid, maybe your parents made you feel inadequate, maybe your teachers, maybe your friends, classmates, whatever. But first, acknowledge what it is that the reflection of the people around you constantly make you feel. Alright, my ehols. Whoa. The moon crossed by the star. That's pretty gorgeous. Two of Swords. Two of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Four of Swords. Hierophant. Eight of Cups. Nine of Swords. The Lovers. Love it. Okay. Can you see all of it? Great. So, okay, my group of Eholas and Seekers. So, next 3 weeks, you're going to be pushed into your subconscious. And when I say pushed, I mean pushed. Because you've been denying something within yourself, which really relates to the talk that we just had. You've been really denying some aspects within your subconscious for a very long time. You've been on the, I can deal with it, I can handle it, I'm fine, when you're not fine. Everything is great, I'm optimistic, everything is possible, the mantras, the manifestation, the vortex, the whatever. But no, you're not in the flow, you're not in the vortex, you're not really happy as you pretend to be. You are carrying a lot of anger, frustration, deep, difficult emotions. Most of them are very subconscious, childhood oriented. Some of you have been living in lack, meaning you didn't have enough. Some of you had to deal with charity, feeling like you're a charity case, or feeling like people are doing you a favor. Maybe your parents made you feel like you're a burden. Maybe your environment constantly had to exert effort in order to be there for you or whatever, and always made you feel like lesser. And you've created an entire world around you to deal with that, where everything is fantastical and wonderful. And you believe in the impossible and everything can be, and there's, all that jazz. Except that it wasn't coming from the true heart. It was like a mask that you've created a personality that is a mask, that is all happy and feeling great, but there's so much confusion and fear inside of you. There's like a scared little child inside that might be super affected by your maternal figure. Maybe your mother was depressed, maybe your father was depressed, maybe something there was a little bit like making you feel like I'm picking up on a lot of you that were made to feel like you're a burden. Um, and this is something that the next 3 weeks are going to really push you into realizing that that's how you feel inside, and that you've been hiding it under a smile of everything is possible. Now, once you truly, the only way out is in, once you truly acknowledge, once you sit the F down and meditate and feel and remember, and picking up on remembering, go back to the childhood, to the relationships, to the exes, to the neighborhood you grew up in, to the school, all of it, all of it, all of it. Have conversations with people, with family members or childhood friends or people that were in your life in those times, whatever, or just write it down. Do the work, because your psyche is about to explode. It's like, I can't deal with this anymore. It's going to give you a cold, right? God forbid, like, or make you like tired or fatigued. Just so you could sit down and stop working or stop going out or stop being productive in order to deal with your pain. Rather, just sit and feel your pain. That will be productive. If you're being like a little cutie mousy, which I love you, you're cute, you're beautiful, okay? And you're acting like the cute mousy that is you, and like everywhere, just to avoid how you feel, that's not, and calling it productive. I need to be productive, I need to be active, I need to create, I need to pull myself out of it. You're doing the opposite. You're making it worse. Sit down. Feel it. Open the Pandora box. You have some major Pandora box with tons of fears and demons and resentments and pain and possibly covert depression. Often the people who are super active and constantly smiling are the ones I'm worried of the most, because there's a good likelihood that that's a persona that they've created. No one is always happy. It's okay. It's okay to be joyous. There are people who are constantly joyous, very spiritual people who are tapped to the joy of life, but they're actually not always happy. Being always joyous means that sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're satisfied, sometimes you're angry. Joy is a healthy connection to yourself and to your heart and to life in its full range. Joy is the freedom to feel like you can feel and be, and not having to have an image of someone like that. Okay? So your spiritual guidance now is to clear a whole lot of psychological gunk from your closet. And boy, that closet is like, it's like really almost like breaking down. You're going to face with a choice of whether or not you're going to be truthful with yourself, or you're going to continue lying to yourself. I'm hoping that you'll choose being truthful with yourself. And people around you are going to see you as someone who's like taking a little bit of time away, time out, maybe not responding, maybe not, or when they do respond, and then they're being a little bit, you're being a little bit like negative or pessimistic. It's okay. They're going to respond that way because they're not used to seeing you like that. You are the wise teacher. Yes, you know the truth and you give great advice and you can guide people. But behind every hierophant, there's a devil. And we had the devil in the first one. Behind every devil, there's a hierophant. When I see the devil, I think of someone wise that behaves as someone who's free and unwise, but that's just a perception of their environment because of cultural expectations of what wisdom is. So you hear, behind every hierophant, I see someone who's deceitful. Although this is the card of truth and spirituality and intuition. Why? Because it comes in a reading right now that shows me that this is the persona you want to have, and that's the robe you're wearing. But you think that's how you truly feel? If we have this in our subconscious, if we have the moon here, hidden by the card of the Pandora box, crossed by the card of the star, which is the only way into your love and purity is through your demons? Yeah, Pandora's box. That's the myth behind the star. What do you think true love and purity of the star is? How do you think you're getting there if not by peeling off the layers of bullshit and diving into the mud? Taking the time to not be perfect, to not be seen as perfect, to take off the robe of perfection and actually be perfect in your own image, naked. This a little bit ties to the first reading of acknowledging your essence, your desires, your fit. I'm going to have a lot of people here who think like that because this is a spiritual reading, so you are guided here to receive spiritual messages. And if you're into listening to spiritual messages, there's a good statistics that a lot of you think that this earth and planet and 3D is not spiritual and bad and corrupt, and you want to reach the higher levels of spirituality. That's the opposite of spirituality. That's escapism. That's denial. That's wanting to be perceived as spiritual, which is actually corrupt and not spiritual. Caring about the perception of spiritual as opposed to actually being truthful. Because if you're truthful, you'll be like, I'm freaking mad right now. But if you care about the perception of spiritual, you'll be like, this is above me. I don't feel anger. God help me from people who do that. And if you do that, you need to understand that it's not spiritual. It's psychological. It's full of pain. And that's okay, as long as you admit it. We all are going through that. This is a complex life experience, full of emotions. But religion has taught us that if we're not the perfect perception of spirituality, then we're evil. And that's evil. And the true spiritual world is now waking out of it. Spirituality, true love, true knowledge, true wisdom, they don't have dogma. The only dogma is the loyalty to the present and to the truth of the moment, of the situation, and so on. Not from a place of being destructive and reckless and irresponsible. Of course, every step you take has implications and it affects the next step of the journey, right? You're free to make your choices, but you're not free of the consequences. So this isn't me telling you to be reckless. This is me telling you to sit down and admit to how you feel. Because I love you and I want you to be truly happy and truly progress on your spiritual journey. Please watch Karmic Shift and Liberation to your sign. Or watch all the karmic placements if you get tier number 3 on Patreon. It's important. The karmic placements, Pluto, 8th house, South Node, 12th house, etc. Or whatever, there's super strong transit, or if you have yods, the planets that form your yod, and so on. You will have to make a choice in the next 3 weeks. Your true self, thus your true spiritual growth, or your perception of self thus far that brought you nothing but dissatisfaction and misery. Partial manifestations always. That one hurt. I felt it. You are guided because there is synchronicity, 2 2s, 2 9s, 2 8s, 2 6s. The numbers are mirroring and reflecting. It means that you are receptive to everything I'm saying, and you're already going there. You're already starting to feel it. It might last for 4 weeks rather than 3 weeks for you specifically. Okay. Cool. How was that? All right, let's move into the third pile. Mm. Water is wonderful. Who do we have? Wunga and Jade. Right. If you don't know how to say the names of the runes, one be Ansus, second be Ehor, third be Wungho, you can simply write pile 1, 2, and 3 for the timestamps. All right. Let's see what my Wungo group has for the next 3 weeks. I really like this. What do you guys think of this? Let me know if you like this type of reading. Usually spiritual readings don't get a lot of hype because people prefer just like get love readings and so on, but often we forget how much spiritual growth leads to spiritual love. So, okay. Ooh, wow. Wow, this is gorgeous. I'll explain. Strength crossed by the tower. This is amazing. Six of Wands. King of Cups. Six of Cups. King of Pentacles. Chariot. Seven of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. You have more people involved in your reading. And the Sun. Yowza. Okay. Wow. Speaking of. Okay, guys. This is whack. Specifically because this is a spiritual and energy reading, so again, the cards receive a little bit of a different take to them, which I wouldn't necessarily normally speak of in regards to regular readings, but yay. This is a treat for me as a reader, by the way, to be able to express these aspects of the cards. Let's start with Strength and the Tower. So, the Strength is a very shamanic card that speaks of physical boundaries, where the reason why we have physical boundaries, our physical form, our mental, cognitive divide, conscious, subconscious, right brain, right lobe, left lobe, the matrix of that mechanism, right? All of these boundaries that we are familiar with in life, emotional boundaries, all of it, they are made for us in this life, not in ways of limiting our spirituality or punishing us from feeling everything around us, right? Rather, as a way of protecting us. Imagine if you had felt the energy of everything. As an empath and a seer, and an extrasensory person, I can tell you, being with very little physical boundaries, aka telepathy, feeling other people's energy, feeling what is happening, and not really have a divide, is a big challenge that takes a lot of energy and can be quite painful until you learn how to master it and work with the physical boundaries and the lack of physical boundaries in ways of mastering it and controlling it, rather being controlled by it. Not having the physical boundaries is dangerous spiritually to the way we live here on planet Earth and in 3D. If we did not have those boundaries, we would be lost in each other's energies and not able to actually live through this experience. But a big part of the spiritual journey and the shamanic journey is breaking down those physical boundaries in order for you to be able to feel energy. And there's always that stage. People think that breaking those physical boundaries of separation and mindset, physically, emotionally, cognitively, spiritually, energetically, is the difficult part. Taking your ego supposedly out of the equation and so on. And getting to the place of not having it is like, that's the aspiration. No. Doing that work of getting there, that's actually the easy part. Everybody teaches you how to do that. Don't have ego. Think of the other one as if they are you. See yourself in everybody else. Blah, blah, blah. Empathy, compassion. Okay, great. What happens when you get there? That's the most painful, difficult part of the journey, where you feel like you lose yourself, where you feel like you're in pain, feeling the world, having to deal with all these energies. And you're like, why did I start this journey? Why did I do this to myself? Awakening feels like shit. But that's not the awakened part. It feels like shit because you're still on the journey, the shamanic journey. It's just the beginning. The next true powerful state is to rebuild these boundaries, these physical boundaries of separation, the healthy ego. Once you break down the toxic ego, now comes the part where you build your healthy ego. Most people get stuck in the empathic state because they really like the perception of the spiritual person and the healer that it gives them. I care about everyone and I feel everyone and I just give myself unconditionally. Yeah, okay, Jesus. You're actually in a very low beginner stages of spiritual growth, but you think of yourself as high or mighty because that's what most people freaking teach. So you get stuck there. And that's actually your toxic ego that is still alive and kicking within you and is even feeding more off of you than ever. Because now it's the boundary of, I'm enlightened, and I'm enlightened. The next step, the step that the hermit goes through, and he's not on the table, so that's where you're heading to. Because you've had the chariot and the string, but you're like, what is happening? I'm not happy. The tower, I feel like I'm crumbling. My essence is crumbling. I don't know who I am. Where am I going? Blah, blah, blah. Where you're going is to a place of building healthy boundaries and healthy ego, where you get to have a say of when you have a boundary, and I am separated than you. You are not me. I do not want you in my sphere, because I recognize that there's still toxicity or something within your energetic auric field that can do me harm, that if I allow for it to mix with my energies, I will be lost in it. So no thank you. Boundary. But here, oh my God, your energy and frequency can really integrate with mine, and we can go through an alchemical process and create something gorgeous. And I trust your energy. I'm able to recognize that I can trust your energy and your intent to not suck me in or to not be sucked by me, right? And we can have this energetic dance. I can let go of my boundaries. I can let go of my wall and connect energetically and spiritually. Now, I gave example of people. It could be career path. It could be a place of living. It could be anything. So in the next 3 weeks, I believe like right now, mostly you're going through the emotional breakdown of where am I on my spiritual path? I've reached this amazing step and stage. I've done so much, but I still feel like I'm in constant movement. And I'm so focused on my emotional relationships and exes and partners and family members. And I'm so focused on my job and money and finances and how my car is and where my next vacation is. I thought I did some spiritual work. Why am I so in the 3D? That's exactly where you're supposed to be now, in building the healthy boundaries of your reality, creating a joyous life path. You've went through so many soulmate relationships and interactions, and you've learned so much, and you've gained the power that you need to gain from it, and you've had the collapse of the aspects of your personality that you needed to collapse from it. And now you're building a new infrastructure, emotional infrastructure, financial and practical infrastructure. And where do I want to live? Where do I want to go? What people do I want to spend time with and enjoy my life with? This is such an amazing step of the journey, Seeker, Wungo, of the joy, which is the most important step and one of the most advanced steps. There's a reason why the happiest card in the deck is 19, 3 cards before the last card in the tarot deck. Right? The world is the last, but it's also the Fool, the 0. So it's almost 1 before. And Wungo is also a rune of joy and community. You're really learning who to give how much to and how and in what capacity and in what way. You're learning to recognize the subtleties of different people's energies and how they can correspond with yours. You're taking the dualism of your life and learning how to take it to a direction of your choice, which is the yellow, the sun, the happy, the joy. You are literally rebuilding yourself in a 3D, tangible, fun way. And if you're thinking to yourself, but that's not spiritual, it's the spiritual. In Judaism, it's a mitzvah, it's an order to be happy. Because we are here on this earth to experience the range of emotion, joy, be it the most highest frequency. But when I say high frequency, I don't mean like good versus the bad, that is sadness. Being sad is not bad. Being sad is true and real to your experience. And you have to go through it in order to reach joy. Right? Remember the former reading with Ehol? If you deny your sadness, you can't ever reach your joy, because the only way out is in. The way to your joy is through your sadness. It's by integrating it and loving it, and that gives you joy. You've been in repetitive cycles for a long time, and now it all breaks down. You've mastered some sort of emotional understanding about yourself. You're feeling damn good about yourself in the next 3 weeks, and I am very proud of you. Leo season is very meaningful. I have 3 Leo cards here. Sun, joy, healthy expression of joy, laughter, allowing yourself to choose who you want to be with and when and where. That's awesome. 2 6s, 3 7s, 2 kings. Something with community. You might be connecting to your soul tribe deeply this month or in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, a sense of people who are more like-minded and have a similar energy that can get you to feeling good with your experience here in this lifetime. Cool. All right. Thank you, Seekers. I hope this was helpful. Let me know your thoughts. Once again, for love, check out your extended love readings, double pentagram. They are monthly for all the signs. You can find them on Vimeo or on Patreon. For karma and karmic release, check out Karmic Shift and Liberation, either on Vimeo or on Patreon tier number 3. To study tarot or go through a shamanic journey, check out Tarot Masterclass Bunkai on Vimeo. If you want to book a private reading with me, you got to be a patron. So join Patreon and then shoot me a DM and I'll give you the link to how to book. You can find me on Instagram, The Existential Shift. Also on Twitter as The Existential Shift. Check out Celebrity Tarot. It's a fun project that I did. doing numerology and tarot for celebrities. It's super interesting. I ask for permission from their higher self. And I think that's it. I love you guys. Thank you for being around. Ciao.